Alrighty, it's your boys the Yuxus, and we're back with another Black Clover Mobile Rise of the Wizard King video. Now, this video is basically just for the next few days we have left with the closed beta testing server. I do believe it finishes on December 1st, so we have I think 2 more days. I think on Thursday. Thursday is the day when the closed beta testing server ends, right? And one thing that I love about the game, my favorite thing in the game, is the arena, which is the PvP. Even though it's against bots, I cannot wait till then for them to get the real-time PvP. But against bots, I do like it a lot. It's very challenging, right? Because again, it's not like you're fighting, even though you're fighting bots, it's not like the bots have like less damage or anything, right? If there's a toxic team still going on, that toxic team could still smoke your team, right? So there's, especially with the Heath team going around. But I wanted to just do basically a team building video. Now I'm gonna do more of these types of videos when the game actually releases, but I wanted to just do one now, right? You guys can try these teams if you need to, just for the little couple days you have left with the game. But yeah, I do like multiple different teams, right? I have a main team, but I don't use it. I literally just like do this one team, or not this one team, I do different teams, right? I test out multiple characters. I literally build out R's, SR's, SSR's, and build them with different teams, so when the game actually releases, I can, you know, do those videos and show you guys, tell you guys what teams are good. If anybody needs help with team building, I'll be able to help them, right? But let's talk about it. So this server I'm in right now is actually not open to anybody yet. I mean, it's just for content creators. I don't know when they're gonna open this to everybody, but they do plan on opening it to everybody. But I am like a guides guy in here, so I've put down some team comps here. So yeah, we're just gonna talk about it. So this one is the one I posted today. It's team 1, which is a Charlotte and Sally comp, right? You can have a healer and a DPS with it. So I'm just gonna read it off of this because I typed it out. I'm not gonna just try to reword it. But so this is what I said. So I've tested out a bunch of different comps, and one that stood out was a Charlotte and Sally comp, right? Now these two lack damage heavenly. And they do. Charlotte does more damage than Sally, right? I think Charlotte does okay damage. She's just not hitting as hard as a lot of other characters, right? But I do think she can like obviously hit fairly hard. Not fairly hard, but like she can get some numbers done, right? But their ultimates paired up can be very broken together if Charlotte gets her silence debuff. It has a 40% chance to go off. So what silence is, it basically makes it that they cannot use their second skill or their third skill, right? And when she procs it, it is actually for 2 turns. Again, she has a 40% chance of having that go off, but it is for 2 turns. So for 2 turns, she stops a lot of characters, right? That silence stops a lot. And I mean a lot of characters, right? It stops Rail's counter, it stops William's tree transformation, all Mimosa healing besides her first skill, obviously. It stops Mars from his AoE stun, it stops Heath from his freeze, and I kind of mentioned that there as well. Right? I don't know if you guys can actually read it, but if you can, then just read it. But I'm still gonna go on and explain. So I say now if you get the silence debuff, you can then use Sally's ult that increases every debuff besides freeze, stun, and transformation. I have tested it. It does not increase the duration of freeze, stun, or transformation, but it does increase debuff durations by an extra 2 turns. So if silence is already there for 2 turns and then I use Sally's ultimate after, that's a total of 4 turns where all these top tier characters, if the silence gets procced on them, cannot use their main abilities, right? So Rill, he cannot use his second or third skill, right? Is that a problem? For him, yes, but not, again, his first skill still has the chance of freezing you and stuff like that, right? And the same thing goes for Mars, right? He has the 60% chance of stunning you. I think it's 65 actually if you get his skill, right? So he's most likely going to stun you still. But then if you have somebody like William on your team, those are characters you want to kind of aim for, right? The character that can still do something crazy on their first skill. That's where William and his tree comes in. That's if you have Mars on your team, that's where your Mars will come in. And if you have a Heath on your team, that's where your Heath will come in as well, right? So having that silence for a total of 4 turns is kind of broken in my opinion, right? Because again, it stops a lot of characters' best feats, or features I should say, right? Right, so on the team you want to have Charlotte, Sally. I have some team examples here. So I put for team example 1, Charlotte, William, Mars, and Sally. More of a stall team, can get damage, but it will take long, right? mainly because nobody on that team is really hitting hard, right? Obviously, Mars is not really there for damage. William is not really there for damage. Sally is not really there for damage. Charlotte is probably your hardest hitting character on that team, but again, she's not hitting as hard, especially since, and she's just not hitting that hard, right? And she's doing good numbers, I would say. Like, I'd say if she crits all her attacks, the max she can do is like 10 to 12k, pretty good. But if she's not, she's probably averaging 6 to 8k, maybe 5 to 8k, around that 6, 7k number, right? So that's one team. You can either do another team, which is Charlotte, Mimosa, William, and Sally. That's a good team as well. Again, it doesn't have damage there, but you will literally never die if you get the silence off, right? And if you have William's skill card, what William's mage skill card is actually is that when he uses his normal attack, his skill 1, he has, I don't remember the exact percentage. I mean, I can open up the game and check real quick. Give me a second. So here it is, right? So basically, if you get his skill, his mage skill, he actually, on his normal attack, his skill 1, has a 40% chance to grant all friendly allies 1 extra SP. If you don't know what SP is, it's the 0 or whatever number out of 10 to get your ultimate, right? You know, when you start a match and it says you have 10 out of 10, that is your SP, right? So he has a 40% chance every time he uses his basic skill to give you everybody an extra SP, right? Which is kind of broken, right? If you have great accuracy on your William, you're actually going to probably get it up to 50%. We still don't really know how much that accuracy is scaling off of. Like, we don't know if it's like 100 accuracy is like 1%. We don't know exactly how accuracy works. We're still trying to figure that out in the server I'm in. But yeah, that is pretty broken. So yeah, if you have this skill, definitely want to put it on your William, right? Okay, so yeah, and then your last team, you also have Charlotte, Heath, Mimosa, and Sally. Again, none of those 3 teams really have DPS. It's more of just toxic stall teams, right? Imagine having Charlotte proc silence on everybody, right? Let's say she gets the 40% on everybody. Then you increase it with Sally, and then after that, you wait 4 turns for them to actually be able to do something, and then you actually literally just freeze them all with Heath, right? It's kind of broken, right? And you will get damage done again. Like, the first strong attack, the first skill, I should say, it's obviously good for most characters, or for some characters. Like, again, Mars and Rail have very good first skills, right? Jack has a great first skill, right? It's good for some of those characters, but being able to stop them, like freeze them completely and stop their other better skills, is a very good, obviously, right? I've mentioned this team a lot, so I'm just gonna kind of blow past this one. But the second team is Uno and a debuffer comp, right? Basically, the seasonal needs debuffs on an enemy for him to actually do 30% more damage, and if the enemies have buffs, he actually ignores 60% of their defense. So when you're using Uno, you most likely want to have a unit like Rill. If you have him LR, right, when he uses his second strong attack, the counter, he actually guaranteed procs paralyze on all enemies, so that's good. Or you can use Jack, which I think is a better option, because Jack's first skill guaranteed debuffs everybody and it lowers their HP, right? So I feel like that's just going to be better. In terms of the buffs, that's only up to whatever characters they're using. You can't put buffs on the enemy, obviously, but yeah, you would probably want to have him with Jack or Rill. And then I think Mimosa for his linking partner, so when you have the like 6 SP and then you can use the link, Mimosa will actually buff up his magic attack and his attack to do more damage on his ultimate, right? When it's like let's say Mimosa goes first, you use it, Mimosa will increase his damage, he'll hit with his first strong attack, and then the following turn will be his turn where he can just ult with the increased magic attack and attack from Mimosa, right? So that's definitely a team builder right there as well. Now we have the Real team. Real, this is not really a team, it's really just like a one-man army, I guess, right? But it's Real, a support, and DPS, right? Basically, Will, if you have his mage skill, he actually increases defense. For like, it could go to any ally, right? But he has a 50% chance to give defense buffs increase by like 60%, I believe. I think it's 50% increase, right? But to him or allies, random, it's randomly, right? But again, Will, his biggest feature is his counter, right? The counter hits hard, right? You just basically want to support him in multiple ways, right? Him linked up with characters like Mimosa. Again, you use the linking skill, increases magic attack and thing attack. And yeah, just magic attack and regular attack. It's going to increase the damage. If he counters and crits, you can give him either his old mage skill or what I kind of recommend. Let me pull it up here. Another skill that I recommend, obviously, is the Breath of Water skill, which it applies 5% crit chance increase and then an increased 25% crit damage, right? And of course, level 6, that goes up by an extra 5%, I would say. So that would be 10% crit chance increase and then a total of 30% crit damage increase when you max out this skill, right? So this is definitely another skill. If you don't have his best skill, his mage skill, I would say this is probably his best, like, next skill you can use. Any other skill obviously works, but this skill, I find when he crits, he hits like a monster, right? So obviously increasing his crit chance and his crit damage more, it just makes sense to use this on Real, right? But let's go back to the Discord. So yeah, it's really just Real and then supports, right? You can have Mimosa to heal him if he does die, right? The defense thing is going to be great for his counter if he does get it on himself. You probably want to have another DPS because you don't want to only rely on 1 out of 4 characters, right? You have 4 people on your team. You don't want to have just 1 DPS. You want to have like a main DPS, let's say, and like a sub DPS and then supports or tank or whatever. But I would recommend either Real, Mimosa, the seasonal one, or the SR. It doesn't really matter. They both do not the same thing, but they both heal, right? William and Asta, right? Asta would be your next DPS, and then William and Mimosa your supports. Or you can use William, Rail, Jack, and Yuno, right? That's more of a Rail, like, lone team, and then Yuno and Jack comp with the Rail, right? And then you have your support William, who is stopping people there. Now, this team here is the final team that I'm going to suggest to people. It's kind of a broken team, Mars and Noel. So I'm actually going to read this one out for you guys. So Mars is one of the best PvP units in the game for the simple fact that he can taunt all enemies and has a good chance to stun an enemy on his skill card, his skill 1 card, and then he actually has an AoE stun on, I believe, his link skill, right? Let me just confirm that. I don't want to give wrong information. So yeah, basically on his combined attack, I guess that's what it's called, his combined attack, he has a 50% chance to taunt all enemies, and if he doesn't, they actually get stunned. Very, very broken combined skill. This is probably the best combined attack skill I've seen in the game. He either taunts them or he stuns them. It's kind of broken in PvP. Trust me, it's heavenly, right? It's actually better than his ultimate, in my opinion. And his ultimate is the same thing as Sally's. He increases, what's it called? He increases the duration of debuffs by 2 turns, right? So you can, it doesn't have to be Charlotte and Sally. It could be Charlotte and Will or Mars. So I'm definitely going to edit that in the Discord server. But yeah, so yeah, you can either use that, but his combined skill is broken. And then you have characters like Noel, who could actually just give shields, increase defense heavenly, right? Noel is like probably the best like defense or tank support, I would say, in the game. And when it comes to PvE or PvP, I think she is the best defensive support, right? Like buffing up other characters, making sure they're alive, keeping them alive without healing, right? Just through buffs. She can give defense buffs. She recovers HP. She gives all allies barriers, right? And she can taunt herself as well. So again, probably the best tank support in the game, right? And then obviously with 2 tanks, you would want to have 2 DPS or a DPS and support. I don't think you need much more support with Mars and Noel, but if you want, for all you want, you can actually put Charlotte on that team, right? Mars, Noel, Charlotte, and then a DPS like Asta, because you have the silence, you have the Sally effect on Mars as well, where he increases the duration of debuffs, and then you have Noel protecting everybody, so even Charlotte can get some damage out there and also stay alive. And then you have your DPS being either Asta. I highly recommend like a DPS if you want a DPS that hits very hard, Rail or Asta. Those are literally the 2 hardest hitting characters in PvP, right? So yeah, these are some team comps you can go off of. Again, I'm gonna edit this one now, so give me a second. So yeah, I just edited. I said Charlotte plus Sally or Mars. I'd actually now, like, I forgot that Mars actually had that. So I would highly recommend Mars over Sally, right? Sally also has debuff transferring. Nothing really too crazy because she can't transfer like the important debuffs in the game, honestly. But Mars, you would want to have Mars who can do the same thing. And then he also has, you know, taunts and stuns. He's just much, much better. So Charlotte plus Mars comp, broken as hell, bro. Broken as hell. You can do Sally if you don't have Mars, but yeah, this is now a Mars and Charlotte team. It's no longer a Sally and Charlotte team. But you guys let me know if you want to try out any of these teams, right? You guys definitely ask me in the comments if you have a character you want me to like make a team for you guys, let me know, because again, I am building random SRs, random SSRs, random R characters, and trying to build teams with them so that you have options, right? I don't want you guys playing the game and only using whatever's meta. I want you to enjoy. If your favorite character is Magna, I want you to enjoy using Magna, because one, the game has put a lot of effort into Magna and his animations, and I want you guys to have the most fun with whatever character you enjoy the most. I don't want this to be a meta heavy game, because again, a lot of these meta characters, Charlotte right there, Charlotte Mars destroys all of them if they get the silence off, right? So you guys let me know what team you guys want me to build in the comments, and I'll probably add it here when I figure it out. And like and subscribe if the video was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys try some of these teams out for the little bit left we have on the closed beta server, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.